You're listening to The Ride to Work with Pastor Fred. Fuel for your faith before you clock in. Enjoy the ride.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much again for joining us on The Ride to Work. And today we're talking about entrance ramps, or some people call them on-ramps. You know, those things to where you get on, or you enter in to get on the highway, the interstate, cross town, whichever one you want to call it. But it's those spaces where you're not quite on the highway, but you're not in the street anymore anyway. So we're talking about entrance ramps this morning. And before we go, I wanted to say this because I was talking to a friend of mine upon yesterday, actually, and he was like, man, when you coming up with all these different concepts and stuff about cars, and it's going to always be about automobiles or traveling or whatever. I say, well, it's basically about life. And sometimes, you know, we have so many things that compare to our lives, our spiritual lives, our social lives, you know, just practical things that you can look at, or that I look at, or that God shows me, to where you say, you know what, you can talk about that and make that applicable to somebody, and make it relative to something else. So that's what, you know, we tend to do. Who's to say? I mean, we're just talking about the ride to work. There's a lot of things you experience on your ride to work. Sometimes some crazy things, sometimes normal things. I mean, some people's rides to work, like mine, I get up very early in the morning, and my ride to work is very quiet and peaceful. And I oftentimes use it to just focus and meditate before I leave the house, and say my prayers over my wife and the household and my family and all of that. And then I'm in my vehicle and I'm driving to work, and it's so quiet because it's so early, so it's not a lot of people on the road, and it's so quiet. And sometimes, you know, I'll take the scenic route. It depends on what time I need to get to work, or if I'm late, or if I'm way ahead of time or schedule or something like that. And sometimes I got to jump on the interstate, the cross town, or whichever way you want to call it. But it's still peaceful because it's quiet. It's still time. And every now and then you need that still time to just focus, to meditate, and just get yourself girded up and ready for your day. That's what birth basically this, you know, ride to work. Because I know a lot of you are like that in the same way. That's your time before the chaos hits. That's why we say it, you know, just giving you a little boost of inspiration and motivation before you clock in. And that's what we want to do. So all of the episodes may not be about one thing or another, but they'll always focus on life and betterment and encouragement and motivation, because that's what we want to do here. And I thank you so much, all of you that join us each and every morning, Monday through Friday. We say 6 a.m. That's when I start putting it out, but sometimes it's earlier, sometimes it's later. It depends. But please join in and let us know. Give us a clue or a sign. Hit us back on Facebook, YouTube, or all the other social media platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on all these different podcast platforms. So please just let us know how we're doing, and if you're getting anything out of it. And again, as always, tell somebody so they can join the ride as well. But today, like I said, we're talking about entrance ramps. First thing I need you to understand, entrance ramps require acceleration. You know that. You know you can't just enter the highway going 5 miles per hour. We know that. You got to pick up speed. And life requires that you pick up speed, because opportunities, they're not going to wait for you to catch up. They're not. You've got to pick up speed. And what I need you to understand this morning, and hear me when I say this, listen, I don't know who I'm talking to out there, but I know you're out there. Your next season requires a version of you that's better than what it is right now. It requires a better version of you, a version of you that's moving faster, that's thinking sharper, that's believing even bigger and better. Your next season requires that because you focused on and you're trying to go into a new season with old mentality, old ways, old ideals, and you have to understand your next season is too big for that. It's too fast for that. It's too powerful for that. So it requires a better you. A better you. And I don't know, I know there's somebody out there that's just hit close to home, because I know God has been dealing with you and you've been wrestling, you've been and losing sleep, dreaming and having all types of visions about you should be this and you should be doing that. God is letting me know and telling me to let you know your next season requires a better version of you. That means preparation. That means get yourself girded up and ready. It's there. It's waiting for you, but better has to come before you get better. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because I don't know about anybody else, but I want better. I want all that God has for me. But I know if some changes need to be made, if some betterment needs to happen within my life, it needs to happen, because that's the only way that I'm going to receive it. God ain't going to reward me in my mediocrity. He's not going to reward me in my stagnation. No, he's going to reward us for better and being better. Making the effort to be better, to make that transition. So understand that interest ramps, they require accelerations. You some of us, you got to speed up. If you want to go up, you gotta speed up, because you're trying to enter a highway going. As a matter of fact, I'll just say it like this: you gotta understand. You gotta understand. It takes acceleration. Some elevation takes acceleration. Because what you realize, and what I need, when you're going on the on ramp, you're rising. Right? You're going up. Let's say I'm getting ready to get up on the highway. I'm getting ready to get up on the interstate. Right? That means we're going to another level. We're elevating ourselves. So sometimes that elevation, it takes acceleration. That's what it does. It means I've got to get up to a high enough speed to match where I'm trying to go or get on to. That's what I have to do. So you got to understand, you got to match the speed of what you're entering. My God. You got to, because what happens once you get up there and you get your speed up, you got to merge. And to merge, you've got to adjust. You got to understand that, because you and I know you've experienced this when you're driving in your car and you're getting on the on-ramp or the entrance ramp, and you're wanting to get up and you're building up your speed. And once you get up there, it's some folk that ain't going to let you in. Some people, they don't want you up there. So you got to pick up your speed to be able to merge and adjust, because sometimes there are some folk that's trying to block you. That's trying to block you from going that elevation, block you from going forward, block you from going further. And what happens is, and what you've got to realize is, it depends on, sometimes it depends on the vehicle that you're driving. God, help me in here. Because there's some vehicles that we're driving that we know it ain't made for the highway. It's not made for the highway. Just like it's some lives that's not made for that next level. That's why I say you have to be a better you. Some of us need to stay on the road. Until we get that worked out, get those situations worked out in our lives before we try to jump up on the highway. Because our lives ain't built for it right now. It's not built for it. Think about it, because see, look, some of us, we're talking about we want a bigger life, but we moving at a small pace. If God is elevating you, you've got to do some elevating yourself. If God is going to elevate you, you got to elevate what? Some things. You got to elevate your prayer life. If that's what you want. You trying to get up there on that highway with all these other folk that have gone through the rigors and have gone through the trials and the trauma and the drama and all of that have secured their prayer life, that have been disciplined in their social life and in their practical lives, in their home life. They've done all these things. Their faith has been tested and now it's trusted. Their thinking is different now. They brought all the thoughts unto the subjection of Christ. Their habits have changed. Old habits, old ways have changed, and now they've earned the right. They've positioned themselves and are built to be on that road, and you trying to enter in. And you trying to get on the highway with a low way of thinking, with a low way of living, with a low level of prayer, a low level of discipline. You ain't operating in faith, but you trying to get on the highway. No, your speed got to match what you're trying to enter into. You can't be lazy. You can't be lax. You can't be slack in this. Think about it. I mean, where is your life now? Where are you trying to go? If you're trying to get to the next level, your thinking has to be next level thinking. And the better you has to be prepared to enter in. Otherwise, you need to stay on the road. Take the long way, the scenic route. Because there's some things in the scenic route that you need to see to show you that you need to be better. And what you got to understand, ain't no shame. There's no shame in taking, a runway. Ain't no shame in that. Because watch this, some of you just want to already be there. You want to already be there. You already want to be on the top. You already want to be in the betterment of life. You already want to be superior. You already want to be, at that next level, that elevated space, that place where people are looking up to you and singing your praises. And I'm not saying that's praising you, but you like people to say how good you are, how good you're doing. Man, you look good, man. You like you successful. You got it going on. Woman, you great. I like that. All this stuff in your job, in your careers, at home, in your finances, all of that. But you got to enter into that. We don't just jump on the highway. We gotta build up speed, because you gotta understand that entrance ramps, watch this, that entrance ramps give you space to build momentum before you join the flow. So once you get up there, look, I'm right with you. I'm right with you. I'm not impeding traffic. I'm not stopping anybody's, flow, but I ain't letting nobody stop mine either. That entrance ramps give you space to do that, to build up that speed, to build up that momentum, to catch up with where you're trying to enter into. So stop comparing your ramp to somebody else's highway. Somebody else has already been there, done that. Stop looking at where their life is and how high they're riding or whatever. You'll get there. You'll get there. See, just because you're not on the highway, that don't mean you're behind. No, that just means God is giving you room enough to build up some speed. Yes, sir. That's what that means. That's what that means. So please hear me and hear me well when I say that. Look, this is your season to accelerate. It's your time to accelerate. But what do you need to accelerate into? Some of us we need to accelerate into our purpose. We need to merge into our destinies. Some of us need to go and flow into the will of God and what God's will is for us. That's what we need to accelerate into. Yeah. Because that interest ramp is literally your launching pad. That's what it is. So please be mindful of that. Please, riders, be mindful of that and understand it's about the next season, and God is requiring a better us in the next season. But you gotta want to go there. I don't know. Some people might be good with where they are. And I know there are some of you out there, you say, you know what, I'm straight. I'm good, Fred. I'm good. But are you really? Are you really? Do you really believe that you have all that God has for you? That this is all that God, that where you are right now, that's it? Think about it. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Again, thank you so much for joining us on the ride to work. As we always say, we just want to give you that morning jolt, that motivation, that encouragement before you clock in. And hopefully we're doing that. God bless you. See you in the morning.